Hey everyone, Kale with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with my best sale of the year so far, at least. So guys, this sale, I just got it today, so today is Wednesday, probably going to be releasing this video on Thursday, so you guys can see it right quick. But this sale, guys, is on this Shakespeare set of books. I recently talked about them in a recent video, and... well, they sold. They sold for how much I was asking. I knew when I listed it that I actually could have asked for a little bit more, but I was thinking, let's list a little bit lower than what I want because I wanted to get these sold quickly. I wanted to get the money in my pocket, and, well, end of the day, they sold pretty quick. So, guys, I listed these back on the 14th of, March, and it sold, the 29th of March. So that means that it was here for just over 2 weeks. That's a pretty quick turnaround, honestly, guys. I'm sure a lot of us would be happy selling a set of books like this within 2 weeks. So, guys, this is just the first book in the set. As such, it seems to have the most damage. We have a little tear down here on the bottom, and I just want to show you guys that little tear because that's the only issue, really, with these sets. So, setting that there right now, and now I'm going to grab the prettier one. Let's see, this one's volume 3. So here's volume 3, guys. This one's prettier. Volume 2 is in much similar condition. So these books, guys, they are absolutely stinking beautiful. I haven't come across a lot of books like this that look this good after being this old. So guys, with that said, how old are they? I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to say all of this basically for this one video. So guys, these are from 1889, as you guys can see right there at the bottom. And here's a little faraway shot of the title page. So with that said, I'm just going to flip on over to a rather random illustration. This thing has, it says 100 illustrations. I'm not sure if that means 100 illustrations per book or 100 illustrations in total between the 3 books, but it does have quite a few illustrations. Honestly, I think they're quite beautiful as well. When I listed this book, guys, well, these sets of books, there actually were no comps of these exact books. There was someone that had a similar set of books from the same publisher from the same time. However, his were not with these stinking stunning front covers. I mean, when you got the embossing and you got the illustration on these things, guys, you know that you've got something special. Oftentimes, sets of books like these are limited edition, like collector editions that are worth a whole lot more. Honestly, I don't think I would have sat on them too stinking long if I was asking $1,000. I might have not gotten $1,000, but end of the day, I was asking $650. I got $650, and I'm pretty pleased with that. So I know that it's one thing to just share numbers like that and just be like, oh, trust me. But I'm actually going to pull this up here, guys, on my eBay app. If you don't trust me off my eBay app, I don't know what to tell you. I can't do anything more beyond that. But with that said, just pulling it up, it looks like when once shipping was included, the buyer paid over $800 for these books because this buyer was an international buyer. So that is something else that I would like to point out to you guys. So with that said, let me just see here. I want to make sure also that I don't share any info about the buyer that I don't want to have shared because they do have their privacy. So with that said, hopping on over to selling, hitting sold. And let's see. Excuse me for a second, guys, as I put a sticky note on my screen to blur this out because it's easier to do it that way. So just blurring out the buyer's info because, again, they have their privacy. Oh, that was too big of a piece. Forgive me, guys. I'm a noob. You know what? Oh, this is difficult. I did mess up. Shouldn't have promised this. Alright. Just checking one more time that I'm not showing anything that I'm not supposed to. Okay, yeah, we're good. So, as you guys can see here, sorry this took so long, but as you guys can see here, this set of books sold for $650. Buyer paid $19, plus all the extra stuff was all the different fees that are attached to that, because, end of the day, the world is full of fees. You have shipping fees, you have all the taxes, all that sort of stuff. The government always wants their piece, and sometimes they think their piece is a lot bigger than it ought to be. I heard a funny line the other day, actually, guys. So if you guys are a Christian, you know that there is the tithe. The tithe is 10%. And I heard a joke the other day. This is not theology. Nothing about this. This is just a joke. But I heard someone say the other day, they were like, you know what? Taxes should be 10% or less. Because if God can keep all this going at 10%, the government definitely doesn't need 30, 60, 90, depending on what state you live in, what country you live in, that sort of stuff. I thought that was a rather funny thing. So with all that said, though, guys, I'm hopping on to the activity part of things, where it says basically my funds, all that sort of thing. And this one, I don't need to blur anything out, which is pretty dandy. There is the item number, there's the order number, but that's pretty good. Okay, so as you guys can see here, here's the activity part. So nice little bit of cash. I recently withdrew, so that's why I don't have a huge balance. I try to withdraw at least once a month, that sort of thing. I try to not let it get up too high because, end of the day, hackers exist, and I don't want to keep too much of my money in the digital system. I prefer to keep it in paper, or preferably silver, as you guys can see in the back. Or do I? Cough, cough. There was a boating accident. Lost it all. But with that said, though, guys, you can see here that that $568.98. That's what I got from eBay after eBay took their big fat chunk. So I actually want to throw these numbers out for you guys exactly. So I asked for $650 plus shipping, so the buyer ended up paying the $809, so $809.37. That's what they paid in total for these books, and then I ended up getting out of that before the eBay fee. I ended up getting loading up $568.98. Oops, and I done did mess up. Pooh. Sorry, guys. Alright, so it looks like eBay ended up taking $240.39 right off the top. I would like to say that a lot of that is because of the international shipping. When you have really expensive things, the shipping for international stuff is a lot more because customs, they want their piece, they want their bit. So that is a big reason for why that is not quite as much as it is. In addition to that, of course, we have just the standard eBay fees that are attached to all the different sales that we do. And in addition to all of that, I would also like to say, guys, that eBay also took $50.20 out of that sale. So that is a whole lot of money. I know that a lot of us are selling books that aren't even $50. So to think that you're losing $50 for that, it's like, oh, that really hurts. But for me, I actually did want to spend that much for the ad. I actually, when I was doing it, I was like, okay, if I'm selling it for $650, I am willing to pay $50 for the ad. That is what I was prepared to do when I actually did the listing. And as such, I actually put in for the adjusted bid thing that I was doing for the promotion. I was actually like, okay, here's the number that's going to be about $50. That's what I'm happy with. That's what I ended up paying. And guys, end of the day, I am more than happy to pay $50 if I'm getting $600 out of it, if this is what we're talking about for fees. I am more than happy spending more dollars advertising the book than I am buying the book for. Like these books, guys, this set of books, I believe I paid $10 for. That's what I have written down here in front of me for what I paid for them. $10 turned into $650 minus eBay fee. That still ends up being $590 that I ended up selling these books for, minus again all the other eBay fees, but that was just going off of what I paid for the books minus the advertising fee. But with that said, though, guys, that is some pretty dandy good money, and I hope that showing you guys these actual numbers was very helpful. So with that said, end of the day, I got the 568. So I'm actually going to do this once again. Sorry, guys, I'm doing all these numbers in front of you, minus the $50.20. That means end of the day, I am walking away with $518.78. Now, of course, I still need to package these books up and send them off to the eBay International Shipping Department. That should be about $19-ish. So let's just say it's going to be $20, just to make things simple. That's $498. Let's just say $500 for easy math. $500 based on $10 spent. Last I checked, that's a good sale. That's a good way to stay in business, and I am more than happy doing that. And I just wanted to say also, guys, there are quite a few books like this that you guys will come across in your business. I wouldn't say that you should avoid them. I wouldn't say that you shouldn't allow this and this and this. I don't think, personally, that you should treat them so dramatically different from the rest of your business that it's like, oh, so I have my prestige side of my store, and then I have all the trash side of my store. Personally, for me, I think that you should treat all books equally, or at least close to equally. Of course, if you're selling $5 books and you have a $5,000 book, take more time on the $5,000 book. tell the buyer what they're buying. For me, when I listed these books, I did several paragraphs explaining all the stuff about them, explaining their issues, explaining how they looked, all that sort of thing. I took all the photos that I could, and then I also said, hey, if you do want more photos, just ask. Because when I have a book, any book, honestly, I say that I am willing to at least answer some questions, But when I have a book that's worth hundreds of dollars, or a set of books that's worth hundreds of dollars, I can guarantee I'm going to be willing to do a little bit more work. So with that said, though, I didn't have to do any more work for these books once I listed them. I listed them, and no one asked any questions. And I don't even think that I sent any offers out to any buyers. So this guy literally just popped on in, saw these books, and bought them without even watching. So that is something that I actually see quite often for a lot of these rare books, these especially 100-plus-year-old books that are rarer than everything, because I couldn't find any sets of books just like this one. So finding this set, it's like, okay, since there's no comps of this whole set, I'm willing to bet it's sort of rare, and since it's sort of rare, I can ask sort of a little bit more money. And generally, guys, when I have a whole set of books, especially a rarer set of books like these, the people that end up buying them, they usually end up just buying them outright. They don't send in an offer. Some of them do. I can guarantee they will send in some offers, some people. But when you have a rare enough book, people will just leap on it and grab that baby because they know that they might miss out otherwise. They know, hey, if I send in an offer, if the seller doesn't get back to me in time, someone else might send in a better offer. They might get it before me, all that sort of stuff. So you sort of do have to consider that when you guys are buying and selling these books, is you might not find anyone watching your book. You might feel a little like distraught after 6 months or something. It's like, no one's bought it yet. I failed. I need to make it worth $5. Like, you might start thinking that. And let me just encourage you guys. Some books are worth sitting on for potentially years. If you know for a fact that a book is worth $1,000, don't take $5. Don't take $100. If you know it's worth $1,000 and you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that it is worth that 1,000, don't take a penny less. Personally for me, I am more than happy to take a penny less if that's what gets it sold. In fact, I don't think eBay allows you to send in an offer if it's only a penny less, but hear me out. Let's say someone did. I would happily take that for me personally in my business, but at the same time, a lot of these books that I'm grabbing, it's like, okay, I know for a fact it's worth at least $650, but I probably would have taken some other number. I'm not going to say it online because I don't want the buyer to get sad that they didn't spend enough. Honestly, I don't know if I would have gone too far below $650 for these, because again, I do think that these probably were worth more along the lines of $1,000 plus. Honestly, if I was selling this during the height of the economy before we started getting into the crash that's going on right now, I personally might have considered listing this for potentially $2,500. This is a stunning set, and with what the economy was doing back in that time, I think $2,500 actually might have not been too insane. Would I have necessarily sold it for that? Sure, if someone paid it, but honestly, if I was asking $2,500, I probably would have taken $1,000 on that, just because once you get to numbers that high, a good multiple on my money is still a good multiple on my money. When you pay $10 for a book, selling it for $1,000 is still going to make you walk away happy. And I paid $10 for these 3 and sold it for $650. That's pretty close to $1,000 that I made. I mean, $650 does round up to $1,000 technically if we're going off of that, because 6 rounds up to 10. So technically, I'm pretty stinking happy. I could have gotten more, honestly. I do understand that I could have gotten more for these books, but end of the day, a sale is a sale. You guys know that I'm working on all these different things, working on starting gold mine, working on all that. So sales like this actually does do a whole lot to help me on that effort to get the gold mine going, all that sort of stuff. I mean, when I saw that, my very first thought was, ooh, so $650, that's a substantial percentage of this property that I'm actually thinking about purchasing for the gold mine. I'm like, oh, that's pretty dandy. I'm not going to throw out exact numbers, but let's just say it was about 10%, because where I'm looking, property is dirt stinking cheap because no one wants to live there because there's not a lot of water. But for me, I'm not going there necessarily for the water, and if I have the gold, I can get all the water I want because gold buys water, But for me, a sale like this is like, oh wow, sales like these really can help me kickstart my businesses, because end of the day, if I only have $10 into it, 10 times on my money is $100. But on these books, guys, I made 65 times on my money going from $10 to $650. And yes, I understand that I didn't get all of that once everything was said and done. I got more like $500, but still 50 times on my money. Pretty good. Honestly, I don't know how low I could have gone on these books. I feel like $10 might have been a little bit higher than what I could have offered when I was buying these, because I did name my own price for all these different books. I actually have the sheet right here next to me. I've shown you guys this sheet before, but I literally wrote down what I would pay for each book, all parsed out. I do like to do stuff like that when people are saying, like, name your own price. Because at the end of the day, someone might think, oh, my book's worth $5, and it's like, it might be, but I'm only going to pay $1 for this one, but I will pay $3 for that one. I'll pay $5 for that one. And most people, they'll think, okay, so that averages out to $5. But for me, with my way that I keep my counts, the way that I do all that, I do like to keep the price of each individual item. That way I don't ever sell a book that's worth $100 and say that I only paid $1. And that way I don't sell a book that is worth $5 and say that I spent $5. You know, it just really helps me parse things out and make sure that, yeah, I might be micromanaging, but it makes sure that I am always profiting, that I'm always making sure that I did make a profit on these things. That's just how I do my own accounting. And as such, when I was buying these books, I probably could have offered a lot less than $10 if I offered more on some other books. But end of the day, $10 turned into $650. Good deal for me. The guy wasn't doing anything with them, so making $10 was pretty good. End of the day, from that specific sale, I did give him $500. I got, I'd say about 500 books for that, because I did buy a huge set of books that I paid, looks like I paid $150 for-ish. So that is something that I did do. Those books that I bought were almost 300 books, so about 500 books total, so about $1 per book. So if you wanted to average it out, yeah, you could say, hey, I spent $3 for that, but that's not how I do it. But end of the day, though, guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was encouraging. For me, I do enjoy having these really big sales. I love it when they have a huge dollar value. I love it when they are antique books like this, like 1800s, guys. I love selling books from the 1800s. That's like my favorite thing. That's my bread and butter. That's honestly one of the best centuries for the books that I sell. I make some of my most money with these books from the 1800s. But end of the day, I get a whole lot of satisfaction from selling a book for a few $100s, but I also get a lot of satisfaction from like selling an entire encyclopedia set. Like, for me, it's just fun to see like 50 books all get shipped into like 3 different boxes, shipped off to someone. It's like fun to look at my shelving and be like, wow, my shelves are full, and then have that one sale and it's like, wow, my shelves are empty, I need to go buy some more. You know, for me, that's something that's also very satisfying for me. And long term, something I would really enjoy to do with my business is have like a prestige shelf for all the books that are worth a few $100s. And I would love to like just have that shelf, and whenever I have a sale, like see that shelf grow, empty out, all that sort of stuff. That's something I would love to do. Right now, I just have them sort of mixed together. There is some organization behind it, but it's not based on price. But it would be fun eventually to have like a prestige shelf with the price thing, because honestly, that might make things just as exciting as seeing an entire encyclopedia set go. I don't know, that's just something I've personally thought about a little bit. So with that said and done though, guys, if this video is helpful, if you would like to hear more about some of my cool sales here and there, if you guys would like to learn about how I run my business, all that sort of stuff, be sure to subscribe. It's up there, or you can drop it down below. You guys can drop a like, drop a comment. Likes and comments and subscribes, they do help my channel a whole lot, so I would love for you guys to do that. And with that said and done, be sure to check out one of my other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.